Hi all dear friends. I'm glad to welcome all of you on my channel. Like it, subscribe to our channel, comment. Many more interesting top films are waiting for you. Enjoy watching. How long can a person live on each of the planets of the solar system without protection there? In the relatively long existence of mankind, travel to neighboring planets has not been possible for very long. Many discoveries have led to many questions. Why do we live on only one of the 8 planets in our own solar system? And does our ability to adapt have narrow limits? Thinking about our neighbors, one wonders if there's intelligent life, organics, animals, internet, etc. on their surface. Today we will imagine what happens to an earthling who finds himself on the wrong planet at the wrong time. It is no secret that a human body without a spacesuit is not capable of surviving being a guest of space. Will it be very cold or very hot? Or will a head without a helmet become a champagne cork? Unfortunately or fortunately, we are not familiar with personalities who conquered the surface of Jupiter or Mars while standing in just slippers. But no one has forbidden the right to apply scientific facts. Suppose we have access to any planet and can breathe in space. Which one would be the most promising for us to inhabit? How long can we stay on this or that planet without protection? Surely many people have at least once asked themselves such questions. Well, now we will give the answers to them, turning to the scientific facts. Welcome to Find Out with you. And so here we go. What will happen to a man on the surface of the moon? Let's skip the effects of outer space and go down to the surface of our closest natural satellite. So you are standing right on the surface of the moon. A little spoiler, it takes longer to boil an egg than it does to live directly on the surface. The small mass of the space body does not allow the atmosphere, which is 6 times smaller than on Earth, to attract oxygen molecules, which are actually not there due to the lack of plants. But to die of suffocation is not possible anyway. The lack of atmosphere becomes close to a vacuum. A person can be in a vacuum for about 90 seconds. He will not explode and will remain conscious for about 10 seconds. In 1965, NASA recorded a case of an astronaut being in a vacuum because of a damaged spacesuit. For 15 seconds, the man was still conscious. The last thing he remembered was air leaking and saliva boiling on his tongue. Although the saliva is boiling, its temperature does not increase, but rather decreases due to evaporation and inability to thermoregulate. By the way, the astronaut survived after that. If you remember Schwarzenegger's reaction on Mars, this is a perfectly realistic picture of the human body reacting in a vacuum. For a tick, holding your breath will cause your lungs to explode without a second thought. Moving on. As you may have guessed, one thing entails another. The temperature conditions on the moon are merciless for us due to the same lack of atmosphere. Let's go straight to the numbers. For the first 13 days of the day, you can turn into a coal on a fast 107-degree fire. And for the next 13 nights, the temperature will drop to 150. And in the darkest hours, the temperature in the deepest pole craters sometimes approaches the value of the absolute cold. About 250 degrees. During a lunar eclipse, when the moon moves toward the Earth's shadow, in just 90 minutes, the surface temperature can drop by 300 degrees Celsius. And yet, a person will not have time to freeze or fry properly. Of course, all the above factors will act simultaneously, but the strongest factor of the adverse effect will be the solar radiation, from which fur coats and sunscreens just cannot protect. The level of solar radiation has long questioned the landing of a man on the surface of the moon. Solar radiation has lethal effects far in excess of what can be reproduced on Earth. In short, damage to internal organs, turning bones into sand and killing tissues, mixed with the above factors, will not let you suffer much or accept the thought, "Oh, cool, I'm standing on the moon." Of course, it may not be so, but so far there have been no volunteers to experience lunar hospitality. Mercury. There is no way to survive on it without supernatural adaptability to changing temperatures. Temperatures on Mercury can reach 426 dCds during the day and drop to 178 dec at night. Even zinc can melt on this planet. Plus, Mercury rotates slowly, and therefore, in order to survive, we need to be in the range of day and night temperatures. However, how to find comfortable boundaries in it is still unclear. Be that as it may, you can survive on Mercury without protection for no more than 90 seconds. Venus. Unfortunately, on this planet, praised in literature and art, you cannot live longer than a second. Its atmosphere contains about 90-80 of carbon dioxide and 90 times higher pressure than on Earth. In addition, the surface of Venus is covered by clouds that release sulfuric acid, and the temperature is even higher than on Mercury, about 426 deg CE, and it is average. Even in the atmosphere of Venus, it was possible to record electrical activity manifested by lightning and thunderstorms. They are irregular, which is similar to the usual weather activity, and the intensity is equal to at least half of the Earth's. The principle is the same, except that on Venus lightning occurs in clouds consisting of notorious sulfuric acid. Mars. This planet in our time is the first candidate for space colonization. However, without protection, you can survive on Mars even less than on Mercury with its hellish temperatures. About 80 seconds. That's not to say it's hot or cold there. The average temperature reaches 62 deg. In Verkhoyansk, which is in Yakutia, it used to be cooler. But the atmosphere of Mars is not conducive to life. It contains 95 carbon dioxide. It is very rarefied, and pressure at the surface is 160 times less than on Earth. But, by the way, the climate on Mars is also seasonal, like on Earth. The angle of inclination of the planet to the plane of its orbit is almost the same, and so the seasons change in the same way. But the climate of the southern and northern hemispheres are different. Jupiter. On the largest planet of the solar system, you can live as long as on Venus. 1 second. Unfortunately for humans, Jupiter has such powerful hurricanes and winds that the human body is physically unable to withstand them. And the planet is also surrounded by various gases, including helium and hydrogen. And there are regular masses of hot air rising in the atmosphere, resulting in the formation of ammonia crystals. Saturn. And you can't survive on its surface for longer than 1 second. In addition to gas clouds, Saturn can please with constant strong winds. Their speed at times reaches 1800 km/h. These tornadoes are so powerful that no living thing could survive. They will simply turn into cosmic dust. Uranus. This planet is supposedly covered with a mixture of methane, ammonia, and boiling water. So it won't be able to survive for a moment. It won't even be able to land. The gas mixture will instantly dissolve the ship along with its contents. Uranus also has retrograde winds. They blow in the opposite direction to that in which the planet itself rotates. Neptune. And on its surface, no one can survive for more than a second. Neptune has some of the strongest winds of any planet in our solar system. Wind speeds of up to 600 meters per second. This is not to mention the cold. In the upper layers of the atmosphere, the temperature reaches 220 deg C, and in the center of the planet, the figure is really hellish. From 5,000 K to I-7,100 to DC. By the way, this data is comparable with the effective temperature of the surface of the Sun. I try very hard for you to learn more interesting things from our world. About this will not tell in the school and the government. Please appreciate my work. Please do not forget to subscribe and like that more people would see the truth. I will be glad to try for you. Enjoy the view. Respectfully find out.